Sue Brown, a ceramicist from Queensland, has been working on a project that has taken her back to a small community in a different way, giving access again to people who are unable to access the plethora of ceramic tuition opportunities that we have in the cities. So Sue will be talking about the way in which this project has grown and how she, with regularity, packs up her car and goes on the road. Sorry, I didn't get to speak to you before.
That's okay. That's
fine.
fine.
Wave this back to you also if you want.
Okay, thanks. That is a very hard act to follow. I'll do my darndest to do the best. I'm a potter from Tallebudgera Valley in Queensland, and my talk and my life now is on giving back to others less fortunate in accessing ceramic tuition. Studio ceramics has given me a creative way to express my artistic ability, and through this I have led a very happy, fruitful life. Now in retirement, my wish is to simply pass on the joy of this wonderful medium of clay to those whose possibilities of having this experience is limited by their isolation. In 2011, I began a studio ceramic program for the Aboriginal people at Wallace Rockhole, a small Aranda community 120 kilometres west of Alice Springs in the Northern Territory. I return each year to the community, camping for 4 months in my caravan and running the pottery studio. On a journey passing through Central Australia in 2010, I came across the Wallace Rockhole community, and in their art centre I spotted 3 electric kilns of varying sizes, all wired up but with no pots anywhere, a potter's dream. Many years ago, a slip casting venture had failed. They also had 2 pottery wheels that had never been used, as they had no one to teach them throwing. I suggested to them that I would be interested in coming back in 2011 to set up their studio and teach them how to utilise this equipment. After arriving home, I went into action. With further discussion via email, a plan was forming. Knowing some of the vast technical sides of ceramics, my plan was for a 3-year project with a 4-month stay each year. What equipment and which materials would be needed to set up the studio? The lists were endless. When purchasing tools, equipment and materials, and upon seeing my own limited funds dwindling at a rapid rate, I hounded my family, friends and associates to donate. A strong request had been made by the community that no government funding be used for this project. I asked for no remuneration from the community at Wallace Rockhole for my skills as a pottery teacher. What I have to offer, I give freely. In 2011, with the car and van packed to the hilt, Lindy Davison, an artist friend of mine, and I made the long journey to Wallace Rockhole, Northern Territory, from our respective homes in Tallebudgera Valley. Lindy stayed for 2 weeks to help with the initial setting up of the pottery. We arrived at Wallace Rockhole to see big changes in the community. Their supermarket had been closed, and part of the art centre opened as a small goods store to supply the basic needs for them. We decided to set up the studio in the old supermarket delivery dock, as the roller door opened beside the art centre's door, and the pottery would be easy to find. As soon as we set up and opened the roller door, we were inundated with eager future potters of all ages and genders, everyone keen to have a go. With clay, laughter and pots going everywhere, the Wallace Rockhole Pottery was born. Having taught ceramics for 30 years, I understand how long it takes to fully master the skills required to not only make a pot, but to cover the technical aspects of ceramics. I set myself the long-term goal of returning to Wallace Rockhole each year to ensure the community will have the skills, knowledge and confidence to operate the studio, to make pots, to exhibit and to sell their artwork. Out the window went my 3-year plan. This was going to take as long as I could give. The studio is open, free of charge to anyone, male or female, young or old, all are welcome. New faces regularly appear and happily work alongside the keen potters who are now, in 2015, approaching their 5th year in the pottery. As soon as the people feel the softness of the clay, they disappear into a quiet, gentle focus on their work. The community members, no matter their age or gender, show a natural affinity and ability for working with clay. The delights they experience through their personal achievements have made me realise that this is a very worthwhile project to continue. The potters do hand building, sculpting and/or wheel throwing. By treating each potter as an individual, their own style starts to emerge. Slab and coiling are the two most popular methods used, with carving, decorating, along with underglaze colours are very popular finishes. I throw plates and there is always a bisque-fired stack in the studio for anyone to decorate. Some folk just want to paint. We use only a clear glaze. I make this up at home and bring it in a dry state to the community. The clay we use is Walker's Special Stoneware, and also Feeney's BRT is sometimes used. All of the work is high-fired to 1285C. Beautiful pots are being made, admired, and some sold through the Art Centre at Wallace Rockhole. In 2014, the Wallace Rockhole Pottery held a successful first exhibition at the June Marriott Gallery in Alice Springs. The main plan is for the potters to be more proficient and confident with their individual styles, techniques and technical ability. We continue to explore with texture, construction, decorating and fired finishes. The aim is to instill enough confidence in each potter to be able to start and finish clay projects independently. Successful delivery of this project will ensure the potters are inspired, creative, self-sufficient and confident in their own skills. The potters make beautiful pots that are not only delightful in their finished state, but also give great joy when raw in the hands of the artist. They gain respect for the medium and pride in their own ability. The Wallace Rockhole Primary School are invited to participate in the pottery each year. The local school attends the studio each week for an afternoon of pottery. One day the junior class, the next day the senior children. Never a problem, always polite with big smiles. The children love to be creative with clay. There is no high school at Wallace Rockhole. The children have to leave the community and board at a high school. Quite often, children drag family members and visitors into the pottery to show off the creations they are working on. They shine with delight and are so proud and respectful of everyone's work. The pottery is open to the children to pop in and have a go any time outside school hours. There is the rule, no school, no pottery. From shy smiles to total ownership, the children emerge at times so ridiculous that my smiles outshine theirs. Occasionally the ladies decide, no kids today, so I have to shoo them out. But they sneak in the other door, quietly finding a vacant chair, pinching off a bit of clay, sitting low so only their big brown eyes can scan the room. They make their little treasures and no one says anything. The kids have won again. My time at Wallace Rockhole is magic. I have eaten bush foods, participated in barbecuing whole kangaroos, dug for and ate witchetty grubs, and sucked the honey out of a honey ant's bottom. I have watched cars full to overflowing with people and goods wobbling off down the road. They have to sit on the roof, bonnet or boot. And once I saw a wheelchair go sailing down the road with a child with no disability, sitting back as though he was on a throne. My golly gosh, I could go on and on. It really is wonderful, and at times I do feel that I am in a crazy Monty Python skit. Then at other times a sadness will overcome the people and stories are told, some in language and some in English. I've heard the saddest tales imaginable that just break my heart. These dear people experience tragedies that for a lesser soul would break us down completely. The success of the Wallace Rockhole Pottery to continue was reliant on my finding funding. The first year of the pottery gave me an insight into the need of the many more dollars that I or my family or friends would be able to supply. I now use Pozible, a website for crowdfunding creativity endeavours, as the main source of raising funds needed to continue with this project. In 2012, 2013 and 2014, I have had successful fundraising, and now another successful fundraiser has been held for Wallace Rockhole. This year we raised $16,000 in 35 days, for a total of nearly $40,000 have been raised to run this pottery. The funds are used for materials for the pottery, underglazed colours, glazed materials, clay. We are now well into our second tonne of clay. Equipment, kiln firings, electrician costs, exhibition costs, all of the studio costs, insurances and the travel expenses for my car and caravan. If anyone out there has a troopy that they want to get rid of, I'd like it, please. All of these costs are helped by the funds raised through Pozible and donations. I know the value of setting a good, strong studio work ethic. In a positive, industrious studio full of laughter and good cheer, good things happen. Will we achieve a long-term outcome of a cottage industry, or will this project just end up being a first attempt at having a hobby, making pots because it feels good? Please put your hands up if you have donated to any of my Wallace Rockhole projects on Pozible. Put both hands up if you've donated to 2. Put your hands up. If you're sitting beside someone that's got their hand up, give them a hug from me. It's the most wonderful thing that you all do, and thank you for listening to me. All of you donors, you're our pottery angels. You keep us going. You have my back. I don't get scared because I know that I can contact you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's okay.